Good morning, Year 3, and here is our first maths lesson. We are on lesson 1.1, and our unit is numbers to 1000. Can you say that? My turn, your turn. My turn, numbers to 1000. Your turn. So, before we start our lesson today, let's have a look at our Showbie perfect presentation. So as you can see, here is some work that someone has done on Showbie. Make sure you use the black pen tool to write your answers neatly. Here is the pen tool, and if you hold it down, you can change the colour. You can zoom in on the page to make this easier. If you click on this button here, you can use your fingers to zoom in and out so it's easier to write. Then you will submit your work and your teacher will mark in red and leave you voice notes or comments. So as you can see here, this person's got this question not quite right, so their teacher has given them some hints and tips, and then they've corrected it in green pen, and the teacher has gone back and given them a fantastic star. You can use this button to use voice notes, or you can use the text box to write your answers. Here's our knowledge organiser for our topic numbers to 1000. Here's our key vocabulary. My turn, your turn. My turn, compare. Your turn. My turn, all together. Your turn. My turn, greater than. Your turn. My turn, less than. Your turn. My turn, order. Your turn. My turn, partition. Your turn. Here are the definitions for those pieces of vocabulary, just in case you're not quite sure. Always come back to your knowledge organiser if you need some handy hints. Here's our do now task. You can use your concrete resources if you're in class, or if you're at home, you can use the Maths Manipulative app to help you. 25 plus 31. I also know that the column method could help me here. You could do this in the space above. Let's finish this pattern. 24, 26, 30. What are we counting in? Are the numbers getting bigger or are they getting smaller? 65 take away 21. Ooh, I know that my column method could help me with this one as well. If I'm taking away, will my answer be bigger or smaller? Let's recap year 2. Here we've got Holly, and Holly says 10 ones make 1 10. Here she's got 10 jelly beans and they equal 1 10. Here I'm using the Maths Manipulative app, and just like 10 ones are the same as 1 10, they are equal, we can use the tens now to make 100. I wonder how many tens will make 100. Let's find out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 tens are the same as 100. Can you see how they are the same? We can now count in tens. Are you ready? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Here's our in focus for today. Ooh, we've got some jelly beans. I love jelly beans. Count in hundreds. How many jelly beans are there? Each jar has 100 jelly beans. Can you help me count in 100s? 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900. Oh, we don't say 1000, do we? We say 1000. And we write 1000, 1 and 3 zeros. Here we've got our ones column, got our tens column, got our hundreds column, and then we've got our thousands column. When you're doing your independent work, leave me a voice note. There are jelly beans, I know this because. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1000s. Rabbi's got a question for us. How many hundreds make 1000? Here are my hundreds. We know that that equals 1000 in numbers, 1000 in words. But how many thousands are there? How many hundreds make 1000? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 hundreds make 1000. Here I've got some hundreds. I know that this is 100, this is 100, and this is 100. Let's count together. 100, 200, 300. I can write that 300s, no 10s, no 1s. I can also write that in words, 300. I'm going to sound out the word three. E. 3 sounds. E. What can you see? E. 100. D. You should be spelling this correctly as it's also on the previous slide. Here I've written it in numbers, here in words, but we can see how many hundreds. Well, there are 1, 2, 3 hundreds. 3 hundreds. I'm using my best handwriting. Here we've got some more hundreds. Let's count together. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. I'm going to write that in numbers. I'm going to write it in words. 5. 500. And I know that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 500 squares. So we could say 5 hundreds. 500s equal 500. Here we've got 1 200s. 100, 200. So we can write it in numbers, 200. We can write it in words, 2, the tricky word to spell, 100. Can you see how I'm writing on the line? When I write in numbers, I make sure it's 1 digit, 1 box. When I'm writing words, I just make sure I write on the line. And I know that I must have 2 hundreds. Ooh, here's a tricky one. Let's count together. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700. I can write that 700. In words, and I know that there are 7 hundreds. Time for your guided practice. I'm going to go to Showbie now. I'm going to click on my class. I'm on day 1 today and I'm looking at maths. And here's all my work for maths today. So I'm going to open my guided practice to start with. I must remember my perfect presentation. Here, the question is asking you to write in numbers and words. So I'm going to use my pen tool and change it to black. And then I'm going to count my hundreds. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. Here you can write it in numbers. Here you can write it in words. If that box is too small, click on this button here and use your finger and your thumb to zoom in to make it easier to write. And then you can zoom out and click done when you're ready. Let's have a look at the workbook. Here you need to count and write in numbers. So for question 1, it says hundreds equal 400. Well, how many hundreds are there? There's 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 hundreds equal 400. Hundreds equal We're going to have to count every jar. And then finally, equals Again, we're going to have to count every single basket to find out. Here, you need to be writing in numbers and in words. So here we've got 1, 2, which is 200, which equals 200 in words.